I don't even care if we
I don't
lose.
care.
Like that
Dude.
song, the intro, that's all I care about. It's literally all I care about.
I'm not starting another podcast with you ever again unless we have that like dubbed twice or 3 times over. That felt so good to listen to.
Yes, that is
boy.
a necessary part of this podcast. But Timberwolves lose something to something to
116 to 107
the Phoenix
to the something Suns.
Yeah. So kind of a gut-wrenching loss in ways. I think we're going to have some different opinions on this. From the chat and from Twitter, I can see that we are generally down. So how's everybody feeling?
Generally down, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what it looks like.
we can spin some positives and we can talk about the positives. And probably will need to because
Yeah.
we're a volatile, rambunctious group that runs and falls on our asses when this team, wins and loses. Cameron Thompson,
That's me.
all-star, superstar, LeBron 2.0, Cameron Johnson kicked our shit tonight, and you predicted this.
I did predict this.
How much money do you make?
I didn't make any money, although I did bet the over on him in Prize Picks. But yeah, no, I mean, this is just like the perfect matchup for him. Because we just are so bad against 3-point shooters right now. We're just giving so many open looks, and he's just one to take open looks. On top of that, we're just a really bad corner 3-point shooting defender. Like we just can't do it. Like we just get lost. And it's I mean, it's just it's frustrating because there's so many things in the game that happened 3-point wise, especially, that it's just like, man, like how is he open? By the way, everybody, free tickets in the Timberwolves app right now. I can't believe this. They just put tickets in there. Sorry, I'm paying attention.
It's a miracle.
This is the first time they've done free tickets, so I'm
roast beefs for all, my friends.
Roast beefs for all. Thank you, Carson, for the shout out. I don't know if you even knew that there were tickets, but hey, Jake Erickson, thanks. I think they're giving out free tickets. Yeah, the link isn't working right now, but it might be. But anyways,
well, before we talk about our game, our game was had, and as Godfrey Chamberlain has mentioned, were we expecting to win this game? I don't want to answer that yet. I do want to talk about the fact that at least we are not the Brooklyn Nets.
Seriously, I don't want to be the Brooklyn Nets. I don't want to be anything around the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, I do feel happy about that. That's a positive to take from the night. We are not.
I think so.
Yeah, we are better than them too. Also, so
yeah, a shame that the first to always go is Steve Nash or the coach, but in this instance, Steve Nash. Crazy that they're looking at Ime Udoka, man. I don't know.
That is insane. That is insane to me.
Pretty wild.
They're gonna hire Gerson too.
All right. Well, the highs of that. Yeah, sure. They should, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, they're going to be a desperate team.
Yeah.
They're going to want to unload and offload stuff. And what's up? Round ball ramble with Corbin. What up, y'all?
Yo.
Or yo, you is what I meant to say. Great of you to join us. They're going to be a desperate team to make moves to offload their players because they're not going anywhere, and maybe that's a team for one of our players, right? Maybe we can make some moves. All right, the high of watching the Lakers and the Nets kind of flounder around. At least the Lakers are playing solid defense. Minnesota Timberwolves apparently were pretty solid defensively, but I couldn't tell you where.
I could. I mean, I think there were some bright spots tonight. Okay, so it's kind of like total opposites though, because I was just talking about how they were giving up these open threes, and they gave up a million open threes tonight. But there were some individually decent defensive plays that happened. Like Ant had a couple good defensive possessions.
Right.
I think like Gobert has like a couple, but like honestly, Gobert's been, ever since we said that he was never going to be disappointing,
he's been disappointing.
And partially could be due to us giving him the ball more than he's used to, but like, come on, like this is just so bad. But yeah, I guess, I can remember a couple decent defensive plays from a few people tonight, but like, yeah, in general, it wasn't a good defensive night.
No. Um, where are the takeaways for this game? Are there takeaways? Are
Well,
we just waiting? Are we waiting? Are we on standby? Are we in purgatory?
I
We're
think
four
we're
and
in
four. We're 500.
I think we're in purgatory because I think we are at this stage that I was talking about earlier in the season, but I was hoping that this would be wins because I was like, you know what, we might be able to start the season 7-0. We might be able to start the season 5-2, 6-2, maybe after tonight. I mean, to go back to what Godfrey was saying in the comments, like, no, I didn't expect to win tonight necessarily. Like that wasn't I wasn't coming into the Suns game and being like, "Yep, this is a win," like I was against the Spurs and people like that. Um, but um, this was a winnable game. They gave us plenty of opportunities to win this game. I think
Oh, they
that this
did.
is I think this is purgatory though, because I think we're just in this phase of our team right now where things aren't figured out. We are figuring things out. It's just gross right now. There's just a lot of grossness. We're getting used to each other. I mean, we're doing like just absurd turnovers, like Towns throwing it into the post to like Gobert, who is like just totally not ready for it. And it's just bad. It's just so ugly, but you can see some positives. We have like Jalen Noel, who's been able to make some shots. We've got Torian Prince, who's shooting like he's our top 3-point shooter right now. And even, this is again kind of a weird thing for us to say or for me to say. I won't say that you have to say this, but like Towns has been playing within himself somewhat lately. And I'm not saying he's been amazing. Like tonight, he wasn't like amazing. I didn't necessarily love his game
Not
tonight.
consistently so. I will.
No,
I will say. I will interrupt
yeah.
you and say not consistently so. But he's been better,
He's definitely been better, and it's, like, way more
but
enjoyable to
not.
watch as somebody who's been very nitpicky about everything that Towns does. So,
I.
like,
Yeah.
it wasn't a good night for him necessarily, um, but it like, I guess I'm just taking a small win and saying, "You know what? I'm just glad that he he wasn't as cringy or something tonight."
Sure.
But
I
no,
would have. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Sorry. I know. I was gonna say the box score. I was gonna say the box score is looking okay in Cat's defense, and
Yeah.
I might want to say before like that fourth quarter spurt where Towns took over for like 30 seconds, um, uh, it was like a box score that looked accurate for a lot of things. I think
Mhm.
looking at it now, there's a lot of lies that it's telling, but I will say that yeah, Cat looked better on offense than he has previously, and we need to get better on offense. We need to get better at moving the ball, passing the rock, distributing, and get everyone shots. But mostly, like the ball is sticking to Cat, the ball is sticking to D'Lo, the ball is sticking with Ant, and
Mhm.
even Jalen. And I just need either we figure it out or we play iso ball, and we have to run with that mentality because we can't have both. It doesn't look good when we have both. It's actually our team is very predictable.
It
When
is.
one starter's in the ball in the game, who's getting the ball? It's obviously that player who's shooting the ball. When all of our starters are out, oh, it's clearly one of two players, right? So
Yep.
um, we look very predictable on offense. Defense is where I think I'm scratching my head, wishing like someone will figure it out eventually. And I love what you said about like Ant figuring it out on occasion, playing competitively. But I didn't feel like we got any footing tonight, and we didn't gain any ground. We didn't learn anything from tonight defensively, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true, and we're just still like, I can't remember who shared it. I think it was probably John Krasinski, but they retweeted somebody, and they were showing just like the lostness that happens on defense between like Towns getting screened. People are just not. They feel like they have to be so close to the basket because they're not used to having Gobert be right there,
Yeah,
and it's just like we just have to adjust. We just have to change, and we're just not.
yeah,
uh,
that's remnants of last season. We
it
all had to
really.
protect for each other because Cat
Mhm.
was one player that was kind of constantly getting in foul trouble. Now that he's maybe not as much, which
Yep.
is a benefit, I suppose. Um, right? Like we still have those tendencies to do that. What's like? I have a question for you. What's fantastic about the Timberwolves this year so far? What is the best thing about our team right now? I would love to know your answer. I'm not trying to quiz you.
Mhm.
There's no answer actually. I'm just trying to like if you can drum up something, if you can't, I'll come up with something. But I like, what's the best thing about this team right now?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing about this team right now might be Nas Reed.
Sure, there's no
Like,
wrong answer here.
yeah, I mean, like, I'm personally very excited. I know Ant hasn't been perfect this season, but, like, he's showing new things, and you know how Cat used to say he's bringing out, like, a new tool in his toolbox or whatever. I feel like
Mhm.
Ant is doing that a little bit because he's got, like, these different moves that he has to go to, offensively, and he's playing defensively, I think, a lot more consistently than he has previous years, and, like, that's really exciting, but Nas Reed has really just been, like, great, and
Mhm.
it's been fun to watch, and it's kinda crazy how much better we look when he's in. Also, it looks crazy how much better we are when Jordan McLaughlin's in, so I guess that's my Nas Reed, I guess, is my answer.
Yeah. I was gonna say something, but someone mentioned it. I feel like we haven't really caught up with chat too much here either.
True.
But I feel like the best thing is what Yusuf Fansari says. Is I think Ant is showing defensive flashes of defensive brilliance. I um I think there's been some conversations about like you can put a lot of effort in defense and then you get tired and your legs get lost underneath you when on offense.
Mhm.
And if you're trying as hard as like Kawhi does on both ends of the floor, you're going to be Kawhi who's not playing. You're going to be potentially injured, and so maybe giving rest and giving time to recover so then you can display your talent on offense. So then you can kind of play maybe 50 to 60% on defense. That's maybe should be in our game plan to
Mhm.
like keep Ant engaged on both ends of the floor, but like not, not everywhere, right?
Yep.
Um, and so it's been awesome to see, but like it also kind of trickles into then the legs at late game for him, where like then he was like, short on a couple threes here or there. Um, Man, but he also brings a lot of flair. And I think when he made those two threes in a row,
That was crazy.
I was feeling pretty high.
I was
The
I
second those
was
starters
so
came back in from Phoenix, though, Mikal Bridges was back on Ant. It didn't seem like he got a turnover, and he was then a ghost.
yep. Yeah.
He put his hands on his back like Andrew fucking Wiggins did, and I was like, please don't stop with these comparisons. I want to not think about him, but
Yeah.
yeah. What's like what's something that you can see on the court that's working, but like not maybe to the best of its ability? Like you're okay with it. It's like coming and going here or there.
Um, man, I might take this as, like, a slightly different direction, but, like, I feel like I guess this is the right direction. I just feel like the Ant-driven offense is the offense that I want to see,
Yeah.
and I think the part of him putting his hands on his hips like Wiggins and stuff like that, I think we just have too many people that we're trying to get the ball, and we're not letting one person kinda dominate the touches. We're trying to evenly distribute that between like for some reason D'Lo is ending up with the ball a lot. You know, Towns gets the ball a lot, but he's trying to do a lot of passing now, and he's trying to get it to Gobert. And it's just like we have these four people that are really trying to get the ball, and then like when that happens, it seems like oh, then now Jaden does some crazy drive that is just like insane, and not in a good way. And will like or Gobert will like lose it, like he doesn't know how to hold a basketball. Um, I just think that, we've kind of been screaming this for a while, but like it just needs to be Ant. Ant is the leader. Ant is like the answer to this team being successful. It was in the playoffs. Like that's how we won in the playoffs. That's how
Mhm,
we won
mhm,
the playing game. It wasn't because we gave the ball to Cat a bunch. It wasn't because I mean we didn't have Rudy, but like it's even D'Lo. He played well in like the playing game, and like he was like not very good in the playoffs. But like it was Ant. It was Ant that worked, and that's what you do. So I don't know. I understand that he may require the ball. He might have to have a lot of shots to get into it in the beginning of the game. But man, he's just like the answer. He's just the answer, and you just have to fill it in around him. And I'm not saying blow anything up. I'm not saying to like trade everyone. That's not what I mean right now. We'll get to that eventually. But but like it just needs to be Ant. That's just the answer.
I wish I had an air horn
Yeah.
because I wouldn't use it. No, oh, that's hot or whatever. That was pretty good. That was a good answer. I think I double down on that for sure.
Mhm.
I think there's some encouraging dynamics with Cat and Gobert as well. I have not really seen it since a couple games now.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads me to my next question, and I'll answer first. What's not working really well right now? And I don't think it's the Cat Gobert thing. I don't know if
Yeah,
they're working right now.
they are not
There were
working.
glimpses of like just passing to the open man who are passing above him so he can grab it for the lob or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Gobert is great at offensive potential putbacks. He doesn't dunk. He throws it in like a layup. Like so
Yes.
awful. It's not working, and we see it for like 4 minutes here and 4 minutes towards the end of the game, and we just instantly go to TP. We instantly go to Kyle Anderson. And it's a little like I don't know. We haven't given enough time, so I'm like not really worried, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm like concerned that it hasn't been like motivating to watch. Tonight we faced up against a small team in Bismack Biyombo at the 5, who doesn't do anything offensively, but Cameron Johnson at the 4 matched up with Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, who should tower over everything and who should dominate the post or dominate the game. 70, 80,000 million dedicated to those two players. I don't know what Cameron Johnson's making, but it's
Not
not that.
not
Kicked
that.
our ass. And I'm just struggling to see like this is going to be an everyday occurrence. Like they're going to play small. We're going to have the two bigs, and we have to figure it and address it out. Like we have to double team Cameron Johnson to get the ball out of his hands.
We do. Like it's insanity, but we really do apparently. Yeah, I mean we just can't handle 3-point shooters right now because we're just not a good 3-point shooting or 3-point defense. So I don't, it's just but you're right. Like the Towns Gobert thing has just been ugly so far. And as you said, like we still need to give it time, but you certainly would hope after this point in the season that you wouldn't be like we're 8 games in, you certainly don't want to be like, you know what? Maybe trading all of our really good like assets that we had last year, including many of our draft picks, maybe that wasn't worth it. We're not saying that it wasn't worth it, but like we're in our heads, everybody's thinking it. Everybody has it in their heads. So little spooky in the
Little
wrong way.
spooky. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, well, we got a whole bunch of potatoes from our neighbors instead of Reese's Pieces. Yeah, I'm pretty lost for words after this game. I will say though, it looks like a final score. We weren't big major. We were down kind of consistently all throughout the game. But down 12, bring it back to 8, bring it back to 4, down 15, bring it back to 10, bring it back to 9, down 18. Like when does it go all the way? When does it like completely turn over in our direction? I haven't seen it yet this season. And we haven't built enough credential to like kind of say hey, it was the refs' fault here or there, because I don't think I've even cared about the refs at all tonight. I think they were pretty good actually.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yep.
And also then to answer kind of counterpoint to one of our statements about like Ant kind of is working well and his aggressiveness is good. Yeah, the ball gets really sticky with him sometimes. Yeah, he doesn't see literally anyone else on the court sometimes. That's a problem. I will say for another day, because right now the best look on offense for us on any given day is Ant taking a shot.
Yep.
I don't know. I think that's right. I could be wrong. It should be Cat maybe, but I haven't seen Cat be anywhere assertive that I feel like we need him to be. And at least Ant has those in moments or doses.
He does. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Who are our leading 3-point shooters tonight? After tonight,
I think Taurean Prince is number 1.
yeah. Guess who number 2 is?
My dad was just telling me. I can't remember.
Oh, he knows. He's a stat fiend.
He was looking it up. I can't remember why.
Naz Reid.
Oh yeah, Naz Reid. God, that's crazy though.
Yeah, those two are working well. And I was going to kind of say like what's going well before we get into like the tier list and like kind of the summary of this game is that our bench is kind of showing up, playing pretty resilient, and I think Jordan McLaughlin is a much needed dose of reality that our team needs. Like D'Lo's not working. In a
Mhm.
lot of ways. He's like the worst player on the court in a lot of ways.
Yep.
And man, I was singing his praises at the beginning of the year. I was singing the optimism of him and Gobert, and it's just not working. He is just so slow. He's getting outpaced by Biombo. Like it's just really frustrating to watch D'Lo play and operate. And when he takes his assertive, like when he becomes aggressive, it's great and all, but then hits a mid range shot, which is like not a shot I want him ever to take. Like I don't want that. So
Mhm.
um I don't know. In all, sit D'Lo down, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
I am I was telling my dad as I was watching the game tonight, I'm like, I just can't believe how quickly, because I wasn't like necessarily like some D'Lo stan. Like I wasn't one of these Twitter accounts out there that's like D'Lo content 24/7. But like I was semi-pro, almost like defending D'Lo in certain ways. And I can't tell you, like I've just gone so quickly and changed so quickly in my mind to like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see him play. There's just these plays that drive me insane. Like Ant gets this amazing defensive stop. I don't even remember on who. Maybe it was Booker. But then D'Lo just throws it away. He just tries to get the quick pass down court, and I get it. Like Ant's somewhat available for that, but like that's just a dumb play, and like you can't overthrow it, especially not by that much. Like, oh, it's just so terrible. I hated that play, and beyond that, like he can't make shots. Like we need him to be a shot maker for us to make the defense like get up on him so that we have a little bit of room for these other players, and we just don't have that right now. He's not able to make shots. The only time I felt confident in his shot, which I barely did, was when he was wide open at the top of the 3-point line and nobody came running, and he took all the time in the world to get his perfect shot motion, and it went in. But
Mhm.
like that, it's just like, how often do you have confidence that D'Lo shot's going to go in? Not often. And guess what? The defense thinks the same thing. So it, there's, it's just a problem. And for D'Lo, if he's not going to be able to do these lobs and pick and rolls with Gobert, I mean, Towns he's never been good with Towns on pick and rolls. Both That's partially both people's fault. But and then like Nas Reed is another good player that he could do pick and rolls with, which he's probably done the most. But like he's just watching him do pick and rolls. I would get all these clips of him this year doing pick and rolls, but it would be so painful to watch because he gets the pick and then he just like does nothing. He does nothing. And the times that he does try to get the ball into Gobert, whoever is a roller, it's like the most difficult thing you've ever seen on the basketball court. I don't know what it is. I don't
Yeah, it's
understand.
frustrating, and a lot of the defenses are like, uh, they get D'Lo. They know what he's up to. He's not going to just pull up right away. He's going to take his time and kind of cradle to that shot, right? And they're space guarding him. They're not like containing him. They are just space guarding him. So then he doesn't know what to do and operate in the pick and roll.
Mhm.
Um, Frustrating that Jaden was barely on the court tonight. Frustrating that we got foul trouble in with D'Lo early. Maybe that part was part of it. Maybe that was great to get J Mac in. But it's frustrating to watch some of this kind of stuff happen this early in the season with this much uh, kind of hype for this team. Um, yeah, someone said in the chat, tie time, I think, like the Gobert and Cat thing. We were kind of viewing it as a negative. But yeah, defensively they're okay. I would definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
Defensively they're
Mhm.
doing okay. Cat is slow, but he is slow. He is
Yeah.
slow because he is slow, and then they're just always going to kind of attack him. And Gobert is doing what he can, and I think for the most part he's not been in terrible position every time, but
No.
sometimes when there's a space big, like we just kind of get caught.
Yep.
Um, I think offensively though, yeah, I'm not feeling the pairing offensively.
Mhm.
Who I am feeling right now is Nas Reed. Who I am feeling right now is J Mac or Jordan McLaughlin, and
Mhm.
this like Ant Jalen J Mac. It's kind of working for me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm glad we
That's
played this game. I'm glad we played this game on TNT. I'm glad we got some shout out to from Stan Van Gundy about like Nas Reed looking all right, and the humility from or the humor from Charles Barkley and Shaq at halftime about this duo not being anything. They haven't
yeah.
proven literally anything yet, and
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm going to be kind of like not listening to post game interviews because like we got to find a way to win. Yeah, we fucking do.
I know.
This is going to happen on repeat
Yep.
because we're not getting to the ball. Like we're watching the ball bounce to Mikal Bridges. We're not getting that ball. You know, it's like kind of stupid. Um, and we're not playing desperate. We're not playing with energy or hype or desperation. Like we're just watching the game progress and lose.
Yeah.
Um, Pretty embarrassing loss to the Spurs the other night. Pretty embarrassing to not have like a lead or like kind of like a staple, like a stamp on this game. We had like moments and blips from Ant, but that's it. I feel like I'm talking my ass off here. I'm sorry, Cameron. Take us to the tier list.
Tier list time. Boom. There we go. Now, unfortunately, tonight there's actually kind of a lot of people that are worth talking about. We don't have to, but like we had some decent bench contribution, or at least it felt like it. I mean, our bench was just better than our starters tonight. Like Nas felt good, Jordan McLaughlin felt good, Jalen felt pretty good, Torian felt good. Like the first five there on the bottom, like that was like the fun people to watch tonight. So,
Yeah. Plus and minus is telling a pretty enlightening story. Our starting five was all negative double digits. Our bench starting reserve five were mostly positive, except for Kyle Anderson, who didn't even look like anything out there. I'll
yep.
be honest. I think it's worth talking about them kind of loosely. I think Jalen Noel, out of the 3 or 4 bench players that we'll be talking about, was a little out of place. I think
Yeah.
his matchup, Cameron Payne, was like kicking his butt on
Yep.
defense. And I
They
think
got
he
the
took
double
a lot of
team.
contested shots and he had that Biombo block on him. So, I think for the most part, our bench is like at that C level. So Kyle Anderson, probably a D, Jalen Noel C for me.
Yeah.
J Mac, it was encouraging to see him come in. I think I was worried when he got like I think he jumped for a ball and like landed awkwardly. And I was like, he had a high ankle sprain. I was really worried that it would like recur. So it didn't look like that, and I think he played really well in the role that was given. He had an airball 3, which sucked, but like we can't really fault him for that kind of shit. We're not expecting him to like blow out the teams, right? So like a C,
You're
maybe
talking
even
about
a low
Jaden?
B for Baby Mac.
Oh, Baby Mac. Okay, yeah. Okay, I agree. I honestly would go with low B. I'm gonna go with low B tonight.
Yeah. I didn't really didn't talk about his stats at all, but he was 9
Yeah,
points, four for 8 from the field and everything.
it just
No
felt like
turnovers, right? That's big
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
I think the stars for our team tonight, maybe the highest grades that we'll see, maybe even tonight, are Torian Prince and Naj Reed. Torian Prince, 17 and a half minutes. Yeah, maybe 2 for 6 doesn't look great, but 2 for 6 from 3, and those threes were like absolutely necessary for us to have like a glimmer of hope. Otherwise, we'd be down by 20. I feel.
Exactly.
8 points, and I think with 4 fouls, that sucked. Like he was in foul trouble in the first half, and that was like
Oh,
idiotic.
interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
but then he played really well in the second stint, at least second half stint. I think he'd probably be looking like a B right now for me.
That's
I wouldn't mind a
totally.
C. I wouldn't debate a C.
I honestly was gonna say A until you read the stat line. I couldn't. I was. It felt like he had more of an impact tonight.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
like I think you hit it on the head. Like it was like he had impact buckets. Like at moments where if they weren't made, we were gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, so Naz Reid, less than 16 minutes, which is apparently less than what Jaden played, or almost the same as what Jaden played. 13 points, 3 rebounds, a steal, a couple free throws, but more importantly, 5 for 6 from the field, including a 3. A grade for us in 3, 2, 1.
A.
B.
Oh my gosh, I'm borderline A1. I
Oh,
am so high on him tonight. I felt like obviously Nas still has like his Nas capabilities where like he's kind of like wild with the ball when he's dribbling, but like he had some moves
he
tonight
had some moves
that
tonight.
were
The
I
crossover, that
was
the
yeah,
spin back, the spin back.
they were so fluid. It looked like he had
Yeah.
taken like a 2-year leap in development. I couldn't believe what I was watching. My jaw was dropping watching Nas tonight. Now, obviously, I can't give him an A1, but I think that it was an A performance from him because, like, that is like, his expectations have gone up this year because he has been a little bit better. But man, this was just amazing. Yeah, again, if we don't have Nas, we're nowhere near this game. We're nowhere near. We're nowhere near.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think in an A-like performance, that would have been like an A1 in a win. Maybe it's
Mhm.
an A right now. It feels great to give someone an A in a loss. I'd be fine with that. I'm disappointed in Finch. I think I'm worried about Finch and his mantra, his like philosophy about letting the players figure it out, letting the players, feel who's winning the game for us and who's finding a rhythm and then playing that out. That answer was Nasri tonight, and you did not let him stay on the court.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm a little mad at you about that. I'm well, I was mad about you, and now I'm just mad at you. So I think yeah, he could have been the difference maker in us winning this game, and he proved to be maybe more efficient than Gobert and Cat out there at times. So yeah, maybe he was lapsing on D occasionally, and maybe that's why he was pulled late in that fourth. But it was also just because our starter Cat needed to get back in, I guess. So
Yeah.
or Gobert or something. Anyways,
Before we
I
get to the
agree
starters,
with that.
yes, before we get to the starters, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like the video. We were at like 899 Twitter followers and 299 YouTube followers or whatever you call them
Wow.
before tonight. We appreciate you all joining us after every game. So, or most games. On to the starters, the least fun.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to talk about him.
I
I kind of want
know.
to look ahead. I really just want to look ahead. I'm a little jaded, not Jaden, about the starting roster and how they're like potential long term fit with each other.
Yeah.
In a
I think,
way,
yeah.
I'm going to talk about Jaden McDaniels. 17 minutes, 2 for 5 from the floor. I didn't even see him. He was there, but he wasn't there. Maybe a bad last foul on him, but he was basically baiting the refs to call fouls every given moment he was on the court, including 3 turnovers, which is just ass. Um, might be a Wancho, might be a D. However, I feel so strongly that if he's playing well, the Timberwolves are winning this game.
Oh, yeah.
If he's playing well,
Mhm.
if he's like in CP's face but not getting those fouls, if he's in Booker's face but not getting those fouls, like we win this game.
I agree. You just have to have this is a great starting five, especially on paper. And if you can just have two of those players play well, like you're probably pretty good for the night. And tonight we had like half of one play good tonight. So um
Yep.
it it has to be somebody. And if Jaden's out there playing well, Cat can have an off game. Rudy can have an off game. Um, but Jaden was not out there playing well. And I'm just biting my tongue on any Jaden stuff because at the beginning of last year, I was like taking victory laps about how terrible he was and how we should have traded him for Ben Simmons. Amazing take of mine. But then later in the season, as the season went on, he got obviously very good, and we were relying on Jaden. So, and he was coming through. We weren't just relying on him and he was failing. Like he was coming through for us. Um,
Mhm.
what did Van Gundy say about Cat tonight? We were gonna something on him. I don't know. Um,
I don't know.
anyways, I hope somebody else caught that. But yeah, no, I think tonight was really bad, and I want to say Wancho, but
Let's give it to him.
give it,
I think he deserves it. I think
give him the Wancho.
um it's maybe potentially unfair because he's like the fourth or fifth option. But there was this one play where it was like I don't even think it was a fast break, but he got the ball and he could have seriously just passed it out to any open shooter, and he decided to drive it in for the rim, and I think he got it blocked or stolen,
Oh
and it was a
yes, I remember that.
transition play the other way, and I was like, well, this is the Jaden we're gonna get tonight. I think looks like.
Yep.
Um, man, question for you. Um, it was like something like 60 to like 40 or something like that. Like it was borderline like a blowout. And it was like kind of coming up on halftime. We were like closing on the lead or whatever. It made it like an 8 or 11 point game or something. But I was struggling to find like anyone on the court that would like score for us, and to the point where it's like, can we even get to 100
I know.
tonight?
I know.
Luckily, we did like late game heroics from certain players, but I don't know. In today's league, being absolute dog shit on offense when you would basically have like some of the best 3-point shooters in the league, like or at least partly on your team. You have to design a roster around the 3-point shot and defending the 3-point shot and making them at least like, getting up attempts, getting up shots at the 3-point line and getting rhythm shots at the 3-point line. I didn't really see much of that tonight. And the teams that are doing it are winning. The Utah Jazz, the OKC Thunder, the can't miss, Cleveland Cavaliers. They're
Yeah.
all just gunners. And they're going to win a lot of games just sheer on talent alone, but sheer 3-point chucking alone. You could see, it's not a fluke. The game has progressed in that direction, and it's going to continue. And we're zagging, and we better just be way efficient when we make these and we take these shots. And we aren't. I don't feel like there's so much hesitancy on the 3-point line. Karl Anthony Towns, I'm going to talk about you now. 37 minutes, 9 for 18 from the field, which sounds good. 24 points, sounds good. 7 assists, 10 rebounds, it all sounds great. 4 fouls, 4 turnovers, 3 for 7 from 3. That's all actually sounds pretty great. Only 3 free throws, which sucks, but whatever. His role has changed, and we have to stop giving him excuses. However, there are excuses because his role has changed.
Yeah.
I have a grade for him, but I'm not sure what your grade is going to be.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I guess we'll find out in 3, 2, 1.
C. Oh,
hey. Yeah, I don't know.
triple.
It's kind of like you said, his role is changing, so there are excuses / not excuses, but I think this is just kind of what we expect out of Towns. Obviously, and this is kind of what I don't want to say hope for, because this wasn't necessarily my favorite Towns game ever, obviously, but but as I mentioned at the top of the show, I just am kind of liking this version of Towns. We had a stretch of Towns during the middle of last season. I can't remember exactly when it was, where he was just focused on basketball. And there was no extra weirdness going on, the crazy complaining. There was there. I mean, he did have some behind the back passes tonight, but there wasn't that egregious what are you doing, cat moments every other play. It was very rare. He limited them a lot. And I'm feeling that lately. And I'm hoping that this continues, because I do want him to just play his role, hit threes, unlike Shaq says, where Shaq's wanting him to back down in the post or whatever. I mean, Shaq's just always going to say that because he's Shaq. But we know that Towns, he can hit threes at a high rate if he's given enough opportunities and openings. And right now, I think we're still maybe asking too much out of him, or he's doing too much. But overall, I'm blabbing on about him forever, but I think that this is just, I like this version of Karl Anthony Towns, and I think it can be improved, but I like this mold, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think a game where Cameron Johnson's guarding you, don't you post him up? I know they were doubling him, but don't you just post him up? Don't you try to draw him fouls? Don't try to get to the line. I think a
But they
team
doubled him every time when he did that.
Yeah. And he wasn't quick to get rid of the ball.
No, the one time he was quick, he threw it away in nowhere close to anybody.
Yeah. I mean, we use the Dylan Brooks, example, right? To totality, because he can't post people up these days. It feels like it, and he's lost a weight, so he definitely can't post up fucking Cameron Payne now, it feels like. But I don't know. I would feel like you would take advantage of the strengths that our roster is gearing. I'm going to use an esports analogy right now, because Cat should be a core. Okay. Have you played League of Legends, know anything about League of Legends, or even CS:GO and how they divide?
I've played League of Legends, and I'm somewhat familiar, but not very familiar. Others are probably way more than me.
Or just at MOBAs. I don't like using League of Legends as an example, but MOBAs, but also CS:GO and Modern Warfare and whatever the things. There's certain players that are your ride or dies, that do all the that take all the kills. You're kind of supporting, being decoys, throwing grenades for them. I don't know. I'm now making this crap up. Here are the med packs, my friend. 420 no scope. Here are my med packs for you. And you you be a distraction so that he gets the kills. And same thing with team games like PUBG and stuff like that. In League of Legends, you have roles, right? You have the person in the mid is person in that lane is getting a lot of farm. The person who's in the bottom lane, very specific role, getting all the farm. The farm is just gold, which translates to items to win more, right? You're kind of like playing like the role that wins and loses on the back of this player. All right, so that's kind of like Ant, right? Ant is taking all that farm. Ant is shooting all the shots. Ant is like the glory is to him. He's gonna
Mhm.
get that triple kill, that quadruple kill, that rampage, or whatever. I don't know why I went to that direction, but
I love it.
I'm trying to say, like in esports, there is like a meta that like constantly changes with
Yeah.
patches, and the farm can't go to everyone.
Mhm.
And maybe in like the older days, there could be like 3 cores. There could be 3 people who could get a lot of farm, people that could get a lot of points. Now it feels like maybe one and a half can get a lot of points. Everyone else has to play a role to get everyone else involved and have everyone contribute. Otherwise, why are you on the court? Like, why are you out in the field? Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
And so it's like, okay, our team is feeling like a former version of an esports team. Like the meta has transitioned past this team, and we are just having players play on instincts and tuition. We're just playing a pub game. We're not playing a synchronized, coordinated team
Yep.
game. It feels like it. It really does. Where Ant is coming and going on his own, like, decree. Cat's taking over in garbage time for some reason.
Yeah.
And like D'Lo isn't there at all. He's just always underperforming. He's just like stuck in the off lane, stuck in
Mhm.
the lane that no one gives a shit about. He's like, hey, I'll show you. I'll show up like for 2 weeks in January. I'm a little frustrated right now with this composition and the acuity to know that like this team needs to run on Ant's drive and will. And it's kind of like we don't know who's actually taking possession by possession, who's taking the shots, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't think it went anywhere. That analogy didn't really go anywhere, but it sounded cool, and I started talking about it, and then I did.
I think it made sense. I loved it. I think it is right. And I think that this team, I mean, you can even go with a broader brush with this because, like, thinking of like metas and things like that, like you said, we zagged when everybody else is zigging or whatever, vice versa. And, we've gone big when everyone else has gone small. And look at all the successful teams right now. They are the teams that are small. For anybody that's played this is the only game that I can really do this. But anybody that plays Warzone, it's like if you were still running around with like the M4 and the grenade launcher in Warzone today, like that is not the meta. Things have changed, and it doesn't. If you did that now, I mean, M4 is okay now, but like it wouldn't be. It's not the same as it was back then. And you can be successful with non-meta things, but you have to be efficient. And right now, we are just a work in progress that is very ugly. So you can't have the wrong pieces and not play well with the wrong pieces as well. You have wiggle room if you're playing this is my version of your take. It's a little different. But
That's
if you
great.
if you are playing with meta weapons or meta strategy or whatever it is, you might have a little bit of room for error. We don't have room for error.
Dude, I like that. Yeah. Because you're playing what the game has given you, and we're trying to, but then like we're too mentally dense for that to
Yes.
happen. We're
Yep.
not passing the ball to give the opportunities for what the game is giving us. We're
Mhm.
just like holding the ball.
Yep.
And Cat is there doing that.
Mhm.
D'Lo, I am not going to talk about his stats. He's a T Pine minus 20. Wancho, maybe Glenn Taylor.
Honestly, we're borderline Glenn Taylor. We'll give him Wancho just to be nice for one more time, but like we can't have these games coming from him anymore. He has to be better. There's so many elements that he has to be better. And I understand that some of it's on Gobert. I understand that some of it's on the entire team as a whole. But like there are things that he could do individually, like shooting, that he can do better. And it just looks so bad with him out there right now. And
Actually, the most important thing for me is
yeah,
having him bring the ball up with ease. Like I think that's a struggle for him.
I
Bringing
just
the ball up and like passing it is a struggle.
it does seem
It's
like that.
crazy to look at. It feel like it. Feel like that at least. Okay, yeah, Rudy Gobert, 32 minutes, one shot attempt. Everyone, mark that down. One shot attempt, but 7 for 7 free throws. Get the fuck out of here. What is that noise?
That is just
Uh,
this. Most insane.
7 points because they're all from the free throw line, and a couple fouls, couple assists, 9 rebounds. Not double-digit rebounds. Towns led us with rebounds tonight, 10. Um, yeah, shit, fucking shit.
That
In
wasn't good.
3, 2, 1.
Like
D.
Juancho, I
Wancho?
don't even. Yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't look
D.
good, and maybe it's that we're forcing the ball to him to make him more of an offensive player. I know Cat was like, "You were underutilized offensively in Utah or whatever." Like maybe that is so, but like maybe there was a reason for that, and
Oh,
maybe that's what we're finding out. So I don't necessarily. I'm not saying that that's my opinion at this time. Like obviously, there's so many things. We're 8 games in. We're 4-4 also. It's not like the worst thing ever. Like the Warriors are 3-5. Like there are teams, and like Jazz are 6-2 or whatever. Like there are wonky stat lines and wonky scores or like records out there right now. So I'm not trying to get too like up or down about our record right now, but like things don't look good, and things need to start looking in the right direction. Now I know I've been kind of down all night. I will say that like in general tonight I kinda had fun watching this game. Like, this game
yeah.
was sort of fun to watch. Not in the like, the first half was really disappointing, but the second
Mhm.
half, like, it was fun to watch us battle, but I don't know, like, things with Rudy are just they're not as good as I had hoped.
Mm, yeah, so far. Well, I'm done, like, giving this group, excuses. I
Uh-huh.
do know that it's, like, uh, a guards league.
Mhm.
Our money is tied up into bigs. I do know that it's, in the new age of basketball, we rest and recover and watch film and talk and have maybe more, like, segmented team meetings and fractional meetings as opposed to like team meetings, team practices. Here's what's went wrong together as a team. There's less of that,
Yep.
and more of individual. More, it feels like more efficient. You know, like mentoring and teachings by coaches to players as opposed to actual practicing because apparently health is a huge concern and recovery is a big staple like staple of today's NBA. We're not having people rest, like because of general soreness. So that's kind of a positive, I suppose. But we need these wins. We need these wins. We need these wins in any way possible. We got to do something else. We got to change things up. We got to have like a physical team meeting, talk about these things because you know if Gobert didn't go 7 for 7 from the line,
It's a
maybe he's a
bad
Juancho or
night.
Glenn Taylor, but
Yeah,
his
it's like
defense was okay. His
yeah.
offense was nowhere to be found. And even if we weren't even giving him looks or attempts, like he had Butterfinger fingers, man, like Vando, um,
Mhm.
2.0 in Gobert, and we can't have
Seriously.
that. We literally traded you to not be Vando, so
Mhm.
um, yeah, I was disappointed, and maybe this was a game where Gobert didn't even need to be on the court because they were playing so small. They were playing Cam Johnson at the 5 at times when Biombo wasn't out there. This other dude, like his name is Jock Landale.
Yeah.
Uh, he was just a tall boy.
Yeah.
And you could put like like tall like Big Mac on him, and he would have been fine. Anyways,
See, but here's the problem. You said this, and now this is where like my nervousness starts to kick in. Like you were like, honestly, like, do you even need Gobert out there in this game at times? That's a problem. You know, like
yeah, it's a problem.
why like that can't be something that we're saying. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that you're right. And like it's not okay for us to have spent that much on a player that we can just sit back and be like, maybe Gobert should just be sitting this game. Like, what does it matter? Um, that's bad.
Well, yeah, I agree. Maybe I should have I might walk back my words here, like come December or January. I hope I do, rather actually. But I haven't
Me
seen
too.
it on the court yet. I haven't seen this pairing work dynamically and on both sides of the floor. And in a game where threes are king, Gobert is sitting there with the ball on the top of the key, wide open. I don't want him shooting. No one wants him shooting. Phoenix
Mhm.
wants him shooting. That's why they're setting off on him. There's nowhere to pass the ball, so you just waste 8 seconds, 10 seconds giving the ball to Gobert and then giving it back to D'Lo, who doesn't know what the fuck to do with it.
Yep.
I don't know. Pressured situations, pressured possessions. You're wasting time. What is Gobert doing out there? That's weird. It's weird out there for me, watching Gobert kind of operate offensively right now.
Mhm.
The lobs were awesome. Like games 1 and 2 and 3 or whatever, we were lobbing it to him. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was
Um,
cool.
Giving him some opportunity to operate, that's pretty cool. But like, we don't need to utilize him like that. And I feel like we need to fix our like 3 point assertion and aggressiveness before we do anything with Gobert.
Yeah. JBG, don't say it. don't don't say it, JBG. That's exactly what I'm worried
Yeah.
about,
Well,
and I'm
whoops.
pretending like I didn't even see your comment.
Okay, cool. So lastly, Anthony Edwards, who I guess is recently single.
He's single.
That's something. That's like a high school sweetheart of his. Anyways,
Oh, I thought she was like 30.
oh, she did seem older.
Yeah, I think she's like 30 or something.
Oh shit, man. Well, my bad. He played 40 minutes tonight. 24 points. 8 for 21 from the field. 5 for 10 from 3, which is pretty solid, and a few free throws. He got into foul trouble though too. Our grade for him in 3, 2, 1.
B.
C. Mm.
I give him a B just because I got so hyped at that one moment. Like
That was phenomenal, right?
I just got so excited. Like that
Yeah.
was very exciting. And also something, I'm this is like one tiny win that I'm going to take away from tonight is that like how often in the past did we have the Timberwolves teams that would battle back like that much to the point where like we have a player that's able to like yell in an opponent's arena because we just brought the game back all the way.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen. And for it to be like our star player, like that was fun. And I think that Ant showed life out there offensively and defensively.
Ooh,
Of
totally.
course, like he was eight of 21, you said, so like that sucks. And we did see a lot more settling for jump shots tonight, but they were going in, and that is better. It wasn't like the 3 for 15 night that he had the other day or something, but um, but yeah, I just like I have liked what I've seen out of Ant recently, and I've seen that more killer instinct. Um, but but still, there are issues to be addressed, and I still think that this is more of like at least this is my opinion right now. I just think that Ant needs to be given more of an opportunity to really run the offense, and it needs to be focused around him rather than the 4 of them. Like it just needs to be him.
Yeah. Agreed. Why is Donovan Mitchell kicking so much ass at Cleveland? Like he just has that in him. Like he has the bones within him, the DNA to just take over games at a moment's notice. He's figured out what he's great at, and he just capitalizes on it. Like why is routinely Jason Tatum getting his? Like why is right? Man, like we were lucky that Booker got into foul trouble tonight. He was missing his shots. Like he didn't look like Devin Booker, right?
Mhm.
He looked terrible actually,
Yeah.
and he still got 18 points, right?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, there's this it factor that we are, I think, pushing, like stamping on Ant, and maybe it's unfair, but damn it, it needs to happen
It does. It
in the
does.
worst ways because I do feel like he's the pulse of this team. He gets us really juiced and jazzed and excited about this team, and it definitely comes and goes. I think his lapses on defense aren't as common as it used to be, so there's growth that I've been seeing there. But offensively, if the ball's not in his hands, he doesn't know where he needs to be. He doesn't know how to, distribute properly. He has this Andrew Wiggins syndrome where he jumps in midair and he doesn't know what to do with the ball.
Mhm.
And it's constantly turnover prone, right? In that regard. Um, and this sucks to fucking say out loud. But is he just like a sixth man? Is he just a sixth man off the bench? Because he just rides on his momentum and adrenaline and his own production. I hope not. I hope he's a fucking future superstar of this league. But like, is he just a sixth man? Like, let's talk about it or not. I don't want to actually. Let's never mind.
I still think Edwards has this ability. I think he does have the ability, and I see the comments in chat, but like, I just am. I'm a believer. I think that the mentality is a big part of it, and I just think he has the ability to be this all around player. And I'm not saying that he's going to be like one of the greats that are out there right now. I'm not saying like, oh, he's gonna be Kobe. He's gonna be like LeBron. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
saying like he's gonna be Ant, and I think Ant can be something very special. And I don't think of him. I, I don't think of him as a six man. I can't ever see that. But I can see him if he was given full like. I hate saying this, but like we've gone through a million rebuilds as fans. Like we've seen the Flip days, we've seen like the Rubio days, we've seen the like there's like all these different like the Kevin Love, the Al Jefferson, like we've had all these different rebuilds. And I feel like if Ant would have been one of those rebuilds, that might have worked. It might have worked
in that
because
era.
yeah, like if we had an Ant era without Cat, without Gobert, without D'Lo, and we just tried to build around that, that might have worked. And right now, I'm not saying it's not going to work, but like I can't remember. I think it was Gerald that said it. Like he brought up the point that like we don't treat Ant like the star. The team doesn't treat him like the star. They treat Cat like the star still. And I'm not saying that Cat isn't talented or I mean, I don't really think he's like star worthy necessarily. And I guess star could be debated, but like um it just needs to be Ant. I keep saying it all podcast. Like it just needs to be Ant. And if it's not going to work, then we need to know that. But like right now, he shows these flashes of being this amazing superstar. And if we aren't going to ever give him full reins to just like take over, we're never going to know if it's right or not, or if he needs to be a sixth man or whatever it is. You know, like we're just in this weird purgatory, like you said earlier, of like we just don't know. We're not going to know.
This is a stupid commentary for me. Maybe it needs to be on the ballot in November, man. Maybe it needs to be like stapled on the locker room in Target Center for everyone to see. This is Ant's team. Vote yes or no, right? Like vote on whose team this is, Ant or Cat, because that totem pole will fix issues for us. It's actually really nice and encouraging to see Cat like deferring and passing
Yeah.
and whatever. But it still feels like everyone is talking about it like it's Cat's team. And when we talk about Cat, we're like, oh, we got to find a way to win with Cat, and Cat has to like do more and all that stuff. In a lot of ways, you got to do less. You got to do less of the antics, less of all that stuff, and just focus on winning, making like like accurate passes, like percentage based plays,
Yeah.
and have Ant be the variable. And Ant has to pop off because Ant needs shots to get hot, like all that kind of stuff. He needs to bring it every night. And what's so crazy is like the Derrick Rose became MVP, got injured, and had to recalibrate his career. Insane MVP, probably one of the GOAT like kind of players if he kept that like trajectory going, right? His player like profile. Westbrook, kind of very similar, like super athletic, insane athleticism, insane speed, and then he started getting injured, and then you started to see the recession, or he's been regressing, right, as a player, maybe even like situation based. And it's kind of in a situation to succeed, unlike the Wiggins, unlike the Kevin Loves, where the peak was 40 and 42 or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah.
He's surrounded by pretty good players, like the best team we've ever had in history, right? And so, all right, it's not his time to like duck under the covers because we're saying this about our team. Like it's still your team. You need to overextend and be as best as you can be on a nightly basis. Yeah, it was great that you're saying like we don't need him to be Kobe. We don't need him to be like Jordan. Kind of need you to be Donovan Mitchell. That's like kind of what we're asking, or like current level Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
I'm kind of reminded of like DeMar DeRozan at times when I watch Ant, where DeMar took like 8 years before he was like a good player.
Yeah.
He was only just, I can't wait for him to show up tonight. Like 20 games a season he would. And then he became pretty solid for 3, 4, or 5 years. He was pretty good. Now I don't know because I haven't really been following him since he was like traded to San Antonio and Chicago and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't want the DeMar DeRozan path like track for him.
Yeah.
And I not necessarily want the Donovan Mitchell path either, where like he was so good, he peaked so early, and then he like cratered because of injuries, because of whatever nonsense, and now like now year 8 of Donovan Mitchell is looking pretty solid. I don't want to wait 5 years, man. I do not want to wait 5 years. I want to wait. I could wait 5 more games. That's literally like my threshold for patience here with Ant.
I want the Luka Doncic career path where he comes into the league and instantly takes over that team. Like that's what I want. But yes, MBB, yes, we're still going.
Why are we still going?
Why are we still going? I don't even remember what we graded Ant. I think I said
Uh,
B, but everybody is arguing, so maybe
yeah.
not.
Let's just put him in a C, dog.
Oh, this is a oddly satisfying tier list tonight. Very even distribution.
We just needed, Jake Lemon to show up.
Man, where is Jake? What is Jake doing these days?
He's in Boston,
Is he
counting
really
his
in Boston?
millions. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I think he's wearing like 55 or something crazy number.
Yeah. Oh my god, that seems so crazy. By the way, Ty, you reminded me. We have a Discord if you haven't already joined, and we do ranking. We do the tier list in there, and everybody does their grades. We kind of have an average. JBX puts it all together. Shout out JBX. But yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are we still going?
I don't know. Let's end it soon. What's our forecast? What's our 5-day forecast?
Our 5-day forecast in the Twin Cities metropolitan area is the Bucks on Friday. I think they're still undefeated. The Rockets on Saturday. These are okay. We have 4 home games in a row. So 4 home games in a row. The Bucks, the Rockets, the Knicks, and the Suns again.
Whoa. I love that for us. In a weird way, I don't like talking about the schedule as much as I am right now, but the schedule was kind of favoring us, and then we kind of like didn't play up to the competition,
Yeah.
or we played down to the level of competition, just because everyone was giving us like 75 wins or whatever, at least to start the season, and we played down or below average, and the schedule here is like, can we rebound against the Suns? Can we rebound and play up to the level of the Bucks? And the Bucks have been struggling to shoot the threes, and they're relying a lot on like Grayson Allen and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't even know if they have Middleton yet. Maybe they do, and that's why they're winning now again. But like, yeah, I'm expecting TP and Jaden and Kyle Anderson and everyone else to get in foul trouble against Giannis, but that might be a recipe for success because Giannis at the free throw line versus Giannis everywhere else, right? I think those are winnable games. Like I fucking hate how goddamn optimistic I am about this team at times. There's like growth that I could see that these like 3-4 games where we can beat the Rockets, we can beat the Suns, we can turn around and like learn from this game and beat the Suns. I don't know. I'm gonna say we're probably going to be in these like the next 3-4 games, 500 or whatever, 6-6. And ain't bad. It's not great though.
Yeah, 6-6 after this. If we are 6-6 after the next 4 games, I think I'm okay. Obviously, it all depends on the context of the games and what happens. Like if Rudy goes like 0 for 1 again and 7 free throws, like that's obviously a problem. But like, yeah, I think if we're 6-6, I'm not like so down bad, because that still gives us an opportunity. Realistically, as long as we can play ugly basketball and stay at 500 or better, I'm gonna be happy. I don't want to play ugly basketball forever, and I don't think it will be forever. But like, there is going to be this time where we're playing ugly basketball. It's just a matter of how long it is and how close to over 500 can we stay. But yeah, we could still. I mean, we could play really well. We play up against teams that are bigger name teams, and I feel like this is a pretty good stretch. Like you said, like the Bucks, we're going to play up to. Like I don't see ourselves getting blown out of that game. I don't even see us necessarily losing. And then like the Rockets, like that's probably an easier game, but like that's maybe one that we could lose because we don't take it seriously, and it's a back to back. The Knicks is a game where people will want to play. People are going to want to see that game at Target Center. We're going to have a bunch of fake Knicks fans. And then the Suns, again, like you said, a redemption game. So I think that's an interesting schedule and a good way to show us who we really are, because we're going to play some teams that we're probably going to play 100% against. So, yeah. Now, here's my fun question. We did this a couple times now. We've done like a bold prediction. First was Russell Westbrook getting a triple double or whatever. He didn't, but he did pretty well. The last time we did one, we said collectively that Towns was going to be, well, we didn't have a show, so we didn't get to grade him. We said he was going to be an A1 or score 35 points or something like that. He actually did very good in the beginning of that game, but then kind of fell off. So maybe hot take or bold take going into the Bucks game on Friday. I'm going to say that the Timberwolves win by 20 or more. That's my hot take.
I will bet against that.
You do that.
My kids, hide my wife, and all my burritos. I will double stuff that shit. That is a crazy take.
Yeah.
I accept those terms to the duel.
All right.
I do think optimistically about this team versus a team like that.
Yep.
I do think that Cat can exploit certain matchups. I wonder who's guarding Giannis. Is it Cat?
I don't
If
know.
it's Cat, I am a little. Can we put Gobert on the bench again? Because someone's got to. Anyways, who's guarding? I don't know. And they fucking have Malcolm Brogdon. I don't think that 20-point win is going to be accurate at the end of the day. Doesn't matter. These are just blowhard takes by us. I think Ant is going to, I keep wanting this Ant 40-point game. I think it's going to happen between this or the Knicks. So I'm going to say that and that alone. Ant has had a lot to say post-game, by the way. This has had a lot and a lot of excuses. He's not Giannis, so he can't dunk, apparently.
Yeah, what is up with this no dunking?
Anthony Edwards on not having dunked yet this season. Every time I can get to the rim, I have no chance to dunk. Oh, shit. Ant, are we turning on you already? Everybody's on the paint. I've got to figure out how to lay the ball in. I'm all of 6'4", 6'5". I just can't jump over everybody. Man, I ain't as tall as Giannis. That's what he says.
He said that?
Yeah. That is potentially a cat-like fringe take. I'm pretty disappointed to hear that. I think saying that he was tired, saying that the second unit's better than us right now, we got to pass the ball. Dude, I hope you're hearing what you're saying. That's all I got to say.
Earlier in the season or preseason, he said something like, I don't like taking threes because it's so far away from the basket or something.
Yeah.
He really does hate basketball.
Man, man, how fun it was to listen to his post game and think about the future. Now the future's here and it fucking sucks.
Yeah, the future's never fun. Growing up's not fun. And you have to go through tough times to get to good times again. And we are in a tough time right now. So, You know what? We have to move on. We have to learn. We can't just go through the tough time and hope that it goes away, because it doesn't unless you do something about it. So,
and also, we got to end the show.
We are going to end the show because it's late. It's like 1:00 for me. But I don't work tomorrow, so I'm not too bad. So, reminder, free tickets in the Timberwolves app for the Rockets game. So go get those. Timberwolves are going to win by 20 on Friday. Also, Friday is a 9 p.m. game Central Time. So another late game. It's crazy. That one's going to kill me. But we'll power through.
We will.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Thanks for joining us. If you're new here again, subscribe. I didn't check in. Let's see. Did we get to 300? We're at 301. Thank you.
That's solid. Thank you, everyone.
I love you guys. And I think Twitter got to 900 too. So look at that.
We're
sweet. Doing well. Now we can start to pay. Oh, and we can start to pay $8 a month to get verified. Hashtag Elon Musk.
Hashtagging.
But anyways, that's it for us tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Talking Wolves with us. 62 wins is still possible. 52 wins is still possible. Intro.
46 wins, more likely.
46 wins. My first guess is more likely. Maybe even 41. Who knows? Intro is the outro. We'll see you Friday night.